Have you ever thought that drawing on the walls with permanent marker was a good idea? Or cutting off your friend's whole head of hair with a pair of scissors was a cute look? Or thought about eating a Tide Pod just because it looks squishy? We can all admit we did dumb stuff like this as kids. And hopefully you think those are terrible ideas now because you've reflected on the consequences of those actions. With age, we develop the capacity to reflect on our actions before we perform them, an ability we lacked as kids. Yet sometimes it seems that this capacity never develops, and even adults fail to reflect before acting. Why is this? Everyone faces temptation at some point in their lives, and everyone's temptation is different. Whether it be gluttony or pride, lust or sloth, human nature has a tendency to succumb to the vices. These moments of weakness ultimately prevail over the process of reflection, resulting in impulsive, thoughtless actions. When the vices are not kept in check by reflection, they ultimately dominate our fate. Take Oedipus Rex, for example. In Sophocles' play, Oedipus epitomizes lack of reflection caused by pride. Though he was misfortuned with the fate of being disowned by his parents, killing his paternal father, and marrying his maternal mother, Oedipus's downfall was all on him. Let's start off with analyzing the story and seeing where everything went wrong.
A plague has struck the city of Thebes after their king, King Laius, has been murdered. Oedipus, his oblivious murderer, is called to take the throne as the new king and marries the widowed queen Jocasta. The people of Thebes beg Oedipus to end their suffering from the plague, so he wisely asks his brother-in-law Creon to go to the oracle of the god Apollo, who will grant Oedipus a solution to all of their worries. After discovering that the murderer is in the city and must be banished to rid the plague, Oedipus decides to curse the murderer. Remember, this guy is the murderer.
And on this murderer this curse I lay, on him and all the partners in his guilt. Wretch, may he pine in utter wretchedness! And for myself, if with my privity he gain admittance to my hearth, I pray the curse I laid on others fall on me.
Already, this guy's not thinking. But wait, it gets better. When Oedipus speaks to the blind prophet Tiresias reveals that Oedipus is the murderer. Overwhelmed by his hubris, Oedipus accuses Tiresias and Creon of plotting to overthrow him. So, before stopping to think, Oedipus stubbornly negates the truth and creates an enemy. He continues to follow his pride, acting mindlessly until he and Jocasta must ultimately face the truth. Oedipus is her son, and he has killed his real father, Laius. Oh my. Stricken with grief and disgust, Jocasta kills herself, while Oedipus, at the sight of her corpse, blinds himself and, as requested by his damnation, is banished from Thebes. If only Oedipus had stopped to reflect, he wouldn't have damned himself, refused to listen to the prophet's truth.
Now, Oedipus's story may sound absurd, since plagues don't happen because of murders, and sons don't accidentally have 4 kids with their moms. But there is something to be said about Sophocles' message.
Although we cannot control the crazy things that happen in our lives, how we respond to these events is up to us. This is where we have free will. Our free will is a product of our ability to reflect before acting. This liberty comes with the responsibility of the actions that determine our fate. In succumbing to his major vice of pride, Oedipus surrenders his free will, thus becoming subject to a doomed fate. In the end, Sophocles teaches a lesson as simple as this. Our ability to reflect is a mechanism of our free will. In failing to reflect, we not only lose this freedom, but we lose control over our fate. Thus, when we choose not to reflect on our actions or claim responsibility for them, our downfall is inevitable.
Lack of reflection may not matter when you're just a 3-year-old with 0 responsibilities. But it matters when adults have to make big decisions in the real world, decisions that end up impacting everyone around them. And it matters when the people who forget to think before they act are our parents, raising the next generation. Or when it's our world leaders, conducting the futures of our nations. Turns out that ancient Greek playwrights do have a lot to say about our lives today.